Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling video podcast I run here on the UC Campbell channel on YouTube.com. But we're not here really to talk about that. I say that every time. We're not here to really talk about that because there's going to be changes down the line here. This episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle is going to focus around the Mae Young Classic Finals. Now, this is probably going to be a shorter episode due to the fact that, well, it was one match. So I'll probably talk about a few other things. Because initially this is how it was kind of pitched, what it was going to be, that there was going to be a 6-woman tag with Marty Bell, Santana Garrett, and Jazzy going up against, I believe, Tessa Blanchard, Piper Nevin, and I forget who else was inside of there to go along with it. And I thought that was going to be kind of an extra thing, but then you kind of recognize that it was only going to be a half-an-hour show. At least that was the time slot it was given on the actual live show. So it ended out that match, I guess, was shown on YouTube or something in that sense, or maybe in a pre-show while people were watching SmackDown. I don't know at that point in time, because there were no extra matches here. They cut right into it. I believe they started it off with Renee Young kind of going over everything. She kicks it off to JR and Lita, who send it into a video package for both Kairi Sane and for Shayna Baszler, the finalists for the Mae Young Classic. Very good, very high quality video packages for both of the women to kind of get that, because this was the biggest worry. This was the biggest worry about this Mae Young Classic final, was that everything had been filmed at the Full Sail University, where the NXT crowd typically is. They were getting behind people. They knew people going in. Now, granted, if you had taken a look at all of the videos, and I believe people who had released the top 10 in the rankings, especially going into last week, for the WWE Network, that all 8 episodes. And now, granted, the week before, the first 4 episodes took up the first 4 spots. Then the second week, all 8 episodes took up all 8 spots of the top 8 spots in the rankings for for things that people were viewing. So it did show that a lot more people were watching, but we don't know the exact numbers, like how many views and everything in that sense. So that was the thing that was the biggest worry, was that the crowd was not going to get into the match in any way, shape, or form. Now, if they weren't initially going to get into it, the presentation that they were given made people get into this one. And like I said, both video packages were very well done. The introductions, they waited for both Kairi Sane and for Shayna Baszler to get to the ring before they did an introduction of their name and everything in that sense. And the speech that Lillian Garcia gave beforehand, it drew you in, and you understood the importance of the match. That they had started in the first round with 32 women. They had gotten down all the way down to the last 2, so they'd already been through 4 matches to get to this point, and just they hammered down that point. It's like where they started, how they had to get here, everything in that sense. They made everybody in the crowd kind of understand the importance of this of the Mae Young Classic Finals. Now, for the match itself, I thought Kairi Sane and Shayna Baszler did a pretty good job here. I thought this was a really good match, actually. And the reason why I thought it was a really good match was because the story that they were telling. The story at the beginning of the match was Shayna Baszler kind of dominating everything in a sense, and also working over the right arm, which was for the arm that Kairi Sane uses for the elbow drop. So she was working over the elbow and the arm in general to kind of try to take that away, while Kairi Sane was trying to hit a spear throughout. She tried twice and failed, and was trying to hit a spear to try to injure ribs or the chest area of Shayna Baszler. So they were kind of trying to work over a body part to kind of comprehend either taking away a finisher or getting to their finisher to try to inflict the most amount of damage to get the victory. And the aspect of Kairi Sane having to continually hit, use multiple hits to really start causing any kind of damage to Shayna Baszler was, as actually thrown out there throughout this entire match. It took multiple chops for Shayna to even start really showing any effects, and she was just purposefully taking them initially, but she made the mistake of taking too many, and it started affecting her throughout the rest of the match. And when Kairi Sane did hit a spear, it did injure. They played it off as it injuring Shayna Baszler, and that was the main story of the match afterwards, was them kind of working through their injuries and trying to finish off their opponent with Shayna Baszler using a lot of strikes and everything on that sense, and then eventually countering a top rope forearm from Kairi Sane and going into the rear naked choke, how she had won all of her other matches. Kairi ends up fighting out of it at that point in time. She fights out of it based off of using the rib injuries and throwing some elbows into the ribs, and eventually downs Shayna Baszler with a couple of with a top rope move. She did the double stomp, which kind of downed her. She did her running forearm into the march and the running forearm into the corner, which set up for the top rope elbow. And Kairi Sane picks up the victory in what I thought was a very good match. Mainly just due to the story that they told. They told a story of both of them trying to figure out what they needed to do to inflict the most amount of damage possible and getting to that point. I thought both of them did a really good job on that sense. And honestly, it was a very good way of ending what I thought was a very good tournament. If you watch the other two reviews that I have, which I won't have links in the description, but you can find them inside the playlist or anything in that sense, that, pretty much every single match that they had was it was like a decent match or a good match or a very good match. You didn't really have a bad match in there throughout the entire tournament, with maybe the exception of Rachel Evers and Marty Bell, which was at the beginning in the first round of the tournament. I think it was in episode 2 as well. And that was probably the closest one to not really being any kind of good, or if you wanted to consider a match bad, that was probably the closest one that you had. But the quality of matches that they had inside of this tournament have been really good throughout the entire time. If you haven't watched any of the Mae Young Classic yet, I do recommend actually going back and watching it. Now, I will go off and say, out of all the tournaments that they've done, in the terms of in-ring quality and everything in that sense, this might be the lowest between the Cruiserweight Classic and the UK tournament. But here's the thing. Those were also really, really good to great tournaments. And this, honestly, the quality in this one is not this is just god-awful or anything in that sense. A lot of these matches are really, really good matches, and everybody kind of, working through everything. And you'll be, I'm left interested in seeing if some of these people are going to be within the company at any given time. People, I would like to, I mentioned this in the second review, the episode 5 through 8 review and thoughts on people I would like to see. Obviously, we're going to see Kairi Sane around. She won the tournament. She's going to be in the WWE. I'm actually interested to see more of Shayna Baszler. Are they going to be doing something with the whole 4 horsewomen of MMA versus the 4 horsewomen of WWE? Are they going to be doing anything in that? Is she coming into NXT or anything to go along with that? It also leaves it, if she comes in with her MMA style, what does that do to Sonya Deville down in NXT as well? Or is she just going to be brought straight to Maine to go off of that? It'll be interesting to see in there. But other people I'm looking forward to potentially seeing more of. Two that are obvious that I would like to see, though I don't know if we're going to see them anytime soon, would be Tessa Blanchard and Santana Garrett. I think both of them they're very good in the ring. I know they got eliminated. They had them eliminated in the first round, but both of their matches were really good. A couple people that I feel like you'll be seeing in there because they were at ringside. We saw Candice LeRae, Toni Storm, Piper Niven. They were all at ringside. There was one more, and I'm forgetting. Mercedes Martinez was at ringside as well for the actual finals. And those were 4 people I think I mentioned in there. I'd like to see more of them. And it looks like we might be with the factor of them being at ringside for that, kind of leaves you to thinking that is going to be the case, that they're going to be there in some way, shape, or form. And maybe they've been signed to a contract already. Let's see, who else did those are 6 of the main ones. Dakota Kai as well. I would like to see Dakota Kai come in, and I know there's others. I'd have to relook at everything. And I also make mention to all of them that I would like to see in the company on in my second review that I did for episode 5 through 8. So yeah, I pretty much said this is going to be a short one because there was only one match to go through, and I wanted to reiterate my thoughts on the Mae Young Classic. I thought it was a very good tournament, very good watch. It is definitely a recommend to go out and see. You get some really good matches in there, some really good stuff, and also we could be seeing more of these people on NXT or even main roster here in the very near future. So why not get a check out and see what they can do, or at least a little bit of what they can do before they actually make their goes around for the for NXT or for a main roster call up or anything in that sense. So with that being said, everybody, that's everything I've got on the Mae Young Classic. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Matter of fact, every single tournament they've done so far have been really good. Cruiserweight Classic was great. The Mae Young Classic was really good as well. The UK tournament was a great tournament too. I thought it's been all really good so far. I've always been a big fan of tournaments, but the way that they've been producing these have been really, really good. And hopefully we do get a few more of those in the future. I don't know if they're going to be doing any more after this one, but we'll see how everything ends up playing off. I've definitely enjoyed it so far. It's actually been a good way to get introduced to other talent, even if they don't get signed by the company in some way, shape, or form. So, with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I thank you guys for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Peace out. Have a good one.